Around the other side of the car.
He's just a good old boy who loves burning rubber and driving fast. You're tuned into the Clay Millican YouTube channel, where you never know what you're gonna see.
The video you're about to see right here is some cool NHRA history. Somebody come out of this deal with a cool nickname, the other one not so much. But this video is from 2002, Maple Grove, Reading, Pennsylvania, put together by a dear friend of mine named Ray Iddings. Ray is letting me borrow his content so that you folks that are now tuned into my YouTube channel can catch up on some of the history and maybe see a little bit of the side of me where I'm a little hard-headed sometimes, and how two guys that battle it out end up becoming very good friends for a very horrible reason. Enjoy this. Thank you, Ray, for letting me use your content. This is actually the very first time I've ever sat down and talked to anybody about this on camera. He and I have never talked about it, and I think it'll be interesting to see what he has to say.
When we raced Clay at first round at Reading, Pennsylvania in 2002.
This is on live television. Everything's normal. There was no words exchanged, nothing out of the ordinary, until both of us turned on the pre-stage light.
I'd actually pulled the car on the high side and I was ready to stage, and then when I saw he wasn't going to stage, and I trimmed it back and pushed the clutch back in.
There is no rule who has to go first or second, but I made my mind up that he was going to stage first.
I decided I wasn't going to stage, and
he's got his pre-stage on, I got my pre-stage on, and we sat there for a little while.
I wasn't going to stage first. It was being hard-headed, pretty much.
And I honestly could hear the crowd in the grandstand, sold out race, starting to make noise above two 8,000 horsepower top fuel cars.
So we sat there and sat there and sat there.
Began to shake on the clutch. We sat there long enough, it was just quivering.
I mean, it was long. It was too long.
A normal run for a top fuel car, from the time you start it, do the burnout stage, and make the run, is a minute 25 or something like that. And we sat still for a minute 20 seconds.
We sat there long enough that the cars were going to blow up.
Rick Stewart, who is the official starter for the NHRA, came into my vision. I knew right away he was not a happy man.
The starter made the decision to shut us off, which was a good decision.
Rick Stewart was starting to give me the cut the car off signal in a very, very unhappy fashion, I might add.
So they shut us off. I got out of the car.
Doug comes over to my car, has a few choice words.
I walked over to Clay and I said, hey, you know, what's the problem here? What's going on? I was pissed.
The honest truth is, I stood there and just listened. He's on one side of the race car and I'm on the other at my car. Well, my team owner at the time was a young guy named Peter Lehman. He's not a very big guy. He goes over and kind of shoved Doug.
And I turned around, it was a little bit shocking, and he's going, come on, bring it on. Well, I don't need to be asked twice, and so, wham, I mean, I went after him.
I ran around the other side of the car, and nobody ever traded licks, but we pushed and shoved.
The problem is I think I got a little bit of a bad rap because not everybody saw that he hit me first, you know.
I don't know about Doug, I can't answer for him, but I was given a nice talking to by the NHRA. I was not fined, but I was certainly given a talking to that I won't forget anytime soon.
Later that day, the NHRA came over to me and they said, we're going to fine you for getting in a fight. And I go, hey, wait a second here, I didn't get into that. And they said, yeah, you went over there and started the fight. And I said, oh, no, I didn't. They said, well, we're going to look at the tape. So when they look at the tape, they came back and they said, okay, we saw you didn't start the fight. And I go, there you go. Are you going to find the other guy?
And a little sidebar to this, after I got my talking to, John Force pulls up in his rental car and he comes over and he says, hi, I'm John Force. And of course I know who John Force is. Everybody knows who he is. He said, that's the greatest thing I've ever seen. You know, he loved it.
That was the burn down of all burn downs. I mean, that was like, it was way, way, way too long.
But Doug and I, you know, we just within the last few years have kind of gotten over that.
We're buddies now. It's, you know, it's funny how time fixes things, but over the past 6 years, time has healed that. We're friends and we get along fine. We're fierce competitors. You know, we pull up there, put your helmet on, you pull up there, starting line. I want to beat him. I just want to beat him, and I'm sure he feels the same about me. But we get out of the car at the other end, he beats me, I'll go shake his hand. Hey, good race. And that's the way it should be. Racing is here for the street, and getting mad is for somewhere else.
Doug Herbert lost both of his sons. He had 2 teenage sons.
You know, my 2 boys were in the car. My one son, John, he wasn't driving safe. He was driving too fast. He was driving recklessly. He got in an accident.
He started what's called the B.R.A.K.E.S program, and he's now going out trying to tell kids, if you're going to drive fast, let's do it on the racetrack.
There's 6,000 teenagers every year that are killed in car accidents, and that's something that B.R.A.K.E.S, we're trying to do something about that. And B.R.A.K.E.S stands for Be Responsible and Keep Everyone Safe. My son's friends came up with that name, and that's exactly what we're trying to do. We've got a driving program. We've also got a scholastic program that's a computer-based program, and we're just trying to get the teenagers to realize that there's consequences to not driving safe. And the consequences are more than just hurting yourself. The consequences are hurting your family, hurting your friends. You know, you don't want to go to your best friend's funeral. You just don't want to. And I think that somehow they need to just think about that a little bit to make sure that that's not something that they do.
I'm 6-time Top Fuel World Champion Clay Millican, and I'm here to tell you about B.R.A.K.E.S. Be responsible and keep everyone safe. B.R.A.K.E.S was started by Doug Herbert. Doug and I had some legendary battles on the racetrack, but there's one thing we can agree on. Let's keep your teen alive. Over 5,000 teenagers a year lose their lives in highway accidents. There is something we can do to help prevent some of these. Do the right thing and sign your child up for the B.R.A.K.E.S Teen Proactive Driving School. So what is B.R.A.K.E.S? It is a teen proactive driving program that has professional drivers put your teen in real-world situations. Accident avoidance, skid control, all the things that the normal driver education program does not teach. Your child will be taught this in a 4-hour class in real-world settings in a controlled environment. Let's keep your kid alive. Let's be responsible and keep everyone safe. Go get your kids signed up today, and don't get that knock on the door or the phone call that Doug and I got. Do what you can do to prepare your child for what happens every day on the highways. Be responsible and keep everyone safe.
Go to putonthebrakes.org for more information on what you can do to bring your teenagers home safely.